Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Good morning everyone. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 11th August 2021. Okay, so let us see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles. Let us take overview of all these articles first and then we will discuss them one by one. First article, global trade in post-COVID world. On page number 6 there is one article. It is talking about how historically, let's say, important events disrupting global trade has resulted into global cooperation among the nations, reducing the tax, we can say tariff barriers for the global trade, and how it may result into such kind of cooperation in post-COVID world. So this is important from GS3 paper, economy part, international trade. Okay, so we have to take input from that aspect here. Now, global cooperation on maritime security. Yes, yesterday we looked into the debate on maritime security cooperation that was organized under the presidentialship of India at UNSC. So the outcome of that is analyzed in this particular editorial on page number 6. So again, international relations GS2 paper will take input here. Then vacancies in tribunals and high courts. Again, one editorial on page number 6. It is talking about recent Supreme Court Chief Justice of India, let's say, had resented with government's reluctance to appoint, or let's say appointments related to tribunals and high courts. Okay, so we have to take some data, updated data regarding vacancies in tribunals and high courts. At the same time, we have to analyze the impact of such vacancies on adjudication processes, delivery of justice. Okay, so GS2 paper, polity part, this is important. Then moving on, Lok Sabha clears bill restoring states' right to specify OBC groups. What is this particular bill, amendment bill, and we have to understand those provisions and the background of Supreme Court judgment related to Maratha reservation in Maharashtra. Okay, so this is important development from polity perspective. We will have follow up. Then parties get 48 hours to publish candidates' criminal records. On page number 1, now the Supreme Court has given the ultimatum, as the earlier judgments and directives by the Supreme Court have been bypassed by all parties despite of, we can say, monetary penalties on those parties by the Supreme Court. So now it has been given the ultimatum of 48 hours to publish those criminal records of the candidates selected by the political parties. So this is important in terms of GS2 paper, polity part, as well as those who are having public administration optional subject. So criminalization of politics, from that aspect we have to take input here. Specifically prelims related development, Prime Minister launched second phase of Ujjwala scheme. So basics about this Ujjwala scheme and the background of the first phase, it was how it was launched and the target under it, and how the target was revised later on and achieved within the time period. So we have to take input here because this has been very successful scheme. This can be asked in prelims examination as well as mains examination also. Okay, and finally practice prelims MCQs. Let us go into details of all these articles. First, unpacking the resiliency of global trade yet again. Okay, so this article is talking about revival of international trade in post-COVID world. Okay, so the writer is giving some data facts in first part about impact of COVID-19 on global trade and economy. Let us understand that. First thing, on economy, the economy contracted or shrunk by 4.4%. Global economy we are talking. Then we can say global trade declined by 5.3%. And if you are talking about the unemployment, so around 75 million people lost their jobs in last 1 year during pandemic times. Globally we are talking. Okay, you can use this in GS paper as well as essay paper whenever we are talking about impact of pandemic on global economy. Now the past experiences of global crisis, a very good analysis given here, that whenever such kind of, let's say, historic ruptures happen like COVID-19 pandemic in past, the countries came together and cooperated on reducing the tariff barriers and increasing international trade, as well as some institutional changes were done for cooperation, for promoting such international cooperation. For example, if we are talking about, let's say, World War II, important institutions were built after World War II like UN or Bretton Woods institutions like World Bank and IMF. Then later on General Agreement on Tariff and Trade was negotiated in 1947. Okay, so this is how we progressed through institutional development, and they had long-term impact, especially on promoting rebuilding the world economy after World War II and promoting global trade. Then if you are talking about later on the oil crisis that happened during 1970s, oil shocks of 1973 was very famous, and this impacted the global economy severely, and thereafter there was establishment of International Atomic Energy Authority. Exactly, I am not remembering the word, but yes, this is the international authority, or we can say that such kind of authority which oversees the supply and demand of the oil at global level. At the same time, it promotes, or let's say increase awareness among the countries about energy security. Okay, so at the same time, if we are talking about the latest crisis of 2008 financial crisis, after that G20 summit, leaders summit started taking place every year. So there was expansion of cooperation from G7 to G20, and more emerging economies, developing countries like India was included in the deliberations on the issues of global importance, especially the economic aspect. Right, so these are the examples, you can directly write them in your answer. Whenever such global ruptures, or we can say historic ruptures, the events that impacted the world proportionately, or we can say that throughout the world the impact was very severe. So later on there was institutional changes and promotion of global trade. Okay, so in the similar manner, there are some prospects in post-COVID world as well as challenges. What are the prospects? First thing is that there is vaccination going on throughout the world, including India. So this is a good thing. In future we may expect the economy rebound. At the same time, there is fiscal impetus given by all governments throughout the world. So this is going to help further to bring back the economies at the, we can say, the former level or at the growth level. Then third thing, we can also expect in future that the global trade may increase. So there is prospect in different areas of global trade because of various initiatives throughout the world by the countries are happening. But there are some challenges among these prospects also. Challenges. What are these challenges? First thing, we have to understand that whatever the economic development that will happen, this will happen in new areas of economy, or we can say that the focus will be on technological development. Those who are advanced in technological development, these countries will move ahead. Okay, second thing we have to understand is that because of this there will be job losses. There will be job losses as the necessary skill development will be required to move towards technology driven economy. So such challenges, we have to overcome these challenges if we want to harness on or develop on these prospects. Now specifically India, impact of pandemic on Indian economy and trade. If you are talking about some facts here, this is also important. So around 7.3% decline in GDP according to National Statistic Office, NSO. If you are talking about let's say job losses, in last 1 year 10 million people lost their jobs according to, we can say, one private institute, Center for Monitoring Economy. Then third, there is also decline in trade. Okay, so facts are not important, but overall trade has declined in last 1 year, right? So these facts can be mentioned, and as a way forward what we need to do so as to look into these aspects. First thing, we should understand that we should promote value added products or goods manufacturing. Traditionally what we are doing, our exports, we are, let's say, having some leverage in the exports of petroleum products, gems and jewelries, or the agriculture products, textile products, engineering products, right? But we need to promote value added products, or we can say those technology finished products, high end technology finished products. Focus should be on this. So this will give some leverage over our exports. At the same time, we have to also focus on connecting large companies with MSME sector. So linkages between these two, there are already linkages when we talk about the agglomeration economy. So large companies dependent on MSMEs, but we need to establish linkages throughout India between this. Large companies should be promoted or encouraged to adopt new technologies, or they should move towards technology based products, while the MSMEs should act as a feeders to provide local made products to them. Okay, so for that purpose the raw material supply and some inputs from the government to reduce the supply cost, so those measures should be taken according, in addition to whatever the fiscal, we can say, credit supply. Credit supply measures to MSME are already being taken. So in addition to that, the raw material cost, this is very large to MSME, so that should be reduced in different manner. And lastly, the focus should be on skill development. Okay, so skill development is very important in new areas of technology. That data is going to be called as 21st centuries the domain in the economy. Okay, so like we have seen in 19th century, steam engine revolutionized manufacturing sector or economies. In 20th century, computing technologies revolutionized the economy, and in 21st century it is going to be data. Use such words in your essay paper. Okay, so 21st century is going to be the data driven economy. right? So we have to also work on that, but at present the challenge is about skill. So whatever the workforce we have, it is not skilled for that kind of let's say data driven economy. So focus should be on skill development. So in this manner you can write the way forward here, right? So a kind of very good statement that is given in the article itself. Historic ruptures often generate and accelerate new global links that lay foundation for institutional changes, seeking enduring cooperation among the nations. So basically it is talking about this past experiences on global crisis that we had given 3 examples there. So you can use them. Now evaluate this statement with reference to economic growth in post-COVID world. So you can give these examples, and after giving those examples you can write down about the post-COVID world, that how we may expect such kind of sweeping changes in the international institutions like WTO, World Trade Organizations, in promoting international trade. Fine. Any question we have? This is new topic. In last 1 or 2 months such kind of topic is not dealt in the Hindu newspaper. So this is good for your, try to take input for GS3 paper economy as well as GS2 paper IR international trade. We can expect such question related to international institutions. Yes. Now the second article, choppy waters, it is related to cooperation in maritime security. Recently there was one article, sorry, there was this development that we had organized debate at UNSC on maritime security, and it relates to what you can say our presidentialship at UNSC. We are going to organize debate on 3 topics. India is going to be the president, and our Prime Minister gave 5 principle plan or 5-prong plan to enhance maritime security. Now which was the 5 principles. Yesterday we discussed about this, if you remember, 5 principles. Okay, so we have to use them in your answer, right? So which were these principles, in which areas he was talking? So first thing, resolving disputes through international platforms, peacefully resolve maritime dispute on international platform. Second thing he was talking about, let's say security, maritime security from threats of non-state actors and natural disasters. Third thing he was talking about protecting maritime ecosystem and conservation of maritime resources. Fourth thing, reducing trade barriers. And fifth one, we can say about maritime connectivity. Okay, so sustainable connectivity or promoting the maritime connectivity. So all these 5 areas are important when we talk about cooperation in maritime security. Okay, so remember these 5 principles, use them in your answer. Fine. However, in that same summit there were also some disputes, some trading of barbs between different countries that happened. We will call it as strategic barriers. So what happened is between US and China and US and Russia. So US China over South China Sea. and US Russia over Black Sea or Sea of Azov or Strait of Kerch Strait. Now I want all of you to open Atlas and have a look at Black Sea, Sea of Azov and Strait of Kerch or Kerch Strait. Because this can be asked in the examination in prelims. Mapping part. The area is many a times in dispute, maritime disputes or tensions are always there. Quickly open the Europe map, physical map, and there Black Sea, adjoining countries, Crimean Peninsula, Ukraine, Russia, Black Sea, Sea of Azov, AZOV. Did you locate it?
Yes, sir, Black Sea has been identified, sir.
And just north of Black Sea, there is Sea of Azov. A small Sea of Azov is there, just north of Black Sea. That is the connecting link between these two is Strait of Kerch, Kerch. Narrow opening is there between these two oceans or seas.
Yes, sir, it will be at
Yes, Crimea and Russia. Narrow land, let's say there is separation of these two seas is there. This is Kerch Strait. Okay, so this can be asked in prelims examination. Okay, this joins Sea of Azov and we can say Black Sea. Remember this. And as you are looking into Atlas, which is the sea which connects the Aegean Sea with Black Sea or Mediterranean Sea? Black Sea and Mediterranean Sea.
Yes, sir, it will be one of the seas, yes, sir, Marmara Sea, I think.
Yes, Sea of Marmara. Sea of Marmara connects this Aegean Sea. Greece is located there, and then we can say this is marginal sea of your Mediterranean Sea. So Mediterranean Sea is connected with Black Sea. There is Sea of Marmara, right? Yes. So very good. So this is very important mapping part, which are whenever we look into or come across in current affairs related to some regions which are always having some tensions or some crisis is happening, civil war is happening. So they are asked for mapping part in recent times by UPSC. Yes. So as a way forward, United Nations Convention on Law of Seas, UNCLOS. So yes, foundation batch students, recently we covered this topic, right, in geography part, United Nations Convention on Law of Sea. So this is emphasized by our Prime Minister that whatever the maritime disputes are there, they should be resolved through this UNCLOS. This is the only internationally accepted convention related to preservation of maritime resources and resolving the maritime disputes. Okay, so this should be the way forward, this should be promoted, and therefore its ratification, India should promote or rally these countries for ratification of this United Nations Convention on Law of Seas. This UNCLOS was signed in 1982. In 1982 at UNCLOS 3. Okay, so United Nations Conference on Law of Seas. There were different United Nations conferences, and in third such conference this convention was adopted in 1982. You need to remember that USA has signed but not ratified this convention. India has ratified this. Okay, so as a way forward, you can write about UNCLOS here. Yes, what should be the question? What can be question here on this topic? Regional maritime tensions should not become hurdles in global maritime security cooperation. Discuss. So you should be aware in which areas the hurdles or the problems are there. Okay, US, Russia, or we can say that the conflict that is going on between Ukraine and Russia in Black Sea region, Sea of Azov, and South China Sea dispute, we all know about between China and different Southeast Asian nations. There is also conflict between China and Japan over some of the islands in East China Sea region also. Okay, so these maritime disputes, so they should not become the hurdles in global maritime security. You should give such arguments, and you can give as a way forward the 5 points which are mentioned by our Prime Minister in promoting such maritime security. Okay, try to understand that some things are deliberately used in your answers. You should try to use these things deliberately whenever they are relevant. Okay, so because they are, we can say, very important, you should write them either in GS Mains or your essay paper. Fine. Next article, undermining justice. So this particular article, it is talking about recently Chief Justice of India again resented for the vacancies that are there in tribunal. He was very much agitated looking at the vacancy. So data, again updated data, you should be aware, vacancies in tribunals, 240 vacancies are there, and in high courts 455 vacancies. Okay, so in this manner you should remember the vacancies also. Now 445 or 544, exactly what is that data given in article?
Yes, sir, 244, 55.
244 and 455, right?
No, sir, 240, 455, sir.
Okay,
240.
and 455.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So factually you should be correct in your answers. So this is the present situation, and our Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana confronted the government on these vacancies in one of the ruling that, or we can say recent ruling regarding this. Yes, judicial order from Supreme Court in April 2021 on fixing time frame for, we can say, Intelligence Bureau and government to process names forwarded by Collegium. So we know that the appointments to the higher judiciary, that is High Courts and Supreme Court, is done by the Collegium. Collegium system is there. So through that Collegium, the recommendations are forwarded to the executives or president to appoint these names. But the government is not taking decisions, and therefore there are many vacancies are there. So this particular ruling, you should remember, in April, the fixing of time frame, this is also not taken seriously. That's why again our CGI is furious about this situation. And you should remember the conflict between judiciary and executive always going on between over the judicial appointments. Now, impact on inordinate delay in appointments. So this impact, first thing you should understand that when we are talking about tribunals, it is delaying resolution of corporate disputes. This also affects our economy. Second thing is that it is delaying justice delivery. This creates, we can say, a poor picture of the country. At the same time, in the minds of the people, trust in the judiciary also reduces. Justice is delayed. We know that the statement, justice delayed is justice denied. We can use this in your answer, and such vacancies are delaying the justice, right? So overall justice system is affected because of such kind of delay in the appointments. In analysis specifically, what you can write is, already the executive is trying to increase its control over appointments, tenure and service conditions of those who are heading the tribunals. Okay, so through various amendments to the tribunal laws, those who are manning the tribunals, so their tenure, service conditions and appointment process, this is weakened from time to time, and executive control is increasing. Executive control is increasing. This is also cause of concern. At the same time, there is continuous delay in appointment of or formation of national body to oversee the appointment process to the different tribunals and their promotions and appraisal process. Okay, so all these aspects, so these are recommendations of different expert committees. This national body is also not appointed yet. So in analysis you can talk about that whatever the government is doing, this is not at all good for justice system in the country. Okay, so this is related to GS2 paper polity part. It is also relevant to those who are having public administration option. Yes, fine. Any question here? Next, Lok Sabha clears bill restoring states' rights to specify OBC group. You should be aware about Supreme Court judgment. In May 2021, Supreme Court in its order on Maratha reservation has interpreted the earlier amendment, or we can say 102nd constitutional amendment provisions in a literal manner, and said that the states are not having power to identify socially and educationally backward classes or communities in the states, and this is only responsibility of President of India. So this literal interpretation is now changed through the amendment to this particular amendment, right? So article 338 and 340A was included through the 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act. Some changes are made. This bill enables states and union territories to prepare their own list of socially and educationally backward classes. The list must be made by law and may differ from central list. So central list will be prepared by the President of India, and that will be maintained, and any changes will be made by the Parliament only. Now the states have their own, can have own list, different list. At the same time, article 338B, which provides constitutional status to National Commission on Backward Classes. So this particular article mandates the central and state governments to consult the NCBC on all major policy matters affecting these communities, classes. However, this is being amended, and now bill exempt states and union territories from their requirement for the matters related to preparation of their list of socially and educationally backward classes. So they are not required to consult this national body for preparing the state list. So such kind of exemptions are now clearly mentioned. Okay, so this is, we can say, the outcome of this particular judgment, Maratha reservation judgment, and now the Supreme Court, this particular judgment, which was literally interpreting this particular provisions, more clarity is brought by the amendment now. Fine? Okay. Yes. Criminalization of the politics. This particular topic is very important, and as a follow-up to that, Supreme Court warned Parliament that the nation is losing patience with the advent of criminals in politics. Okay, this is happening despite of, let's say, imposing of fines on major political parties including BJP and Congress for covering up of from the voters criminal past of candidates they fielded in Bihar assembly poll last year. So despite of these fines, the political parties are not following the ruling, and therefore now court has directed political parties to publish the criminal history, if any, of their election candidates on the home page of their websites under the caption candidates with criminal antecedents, clearly within 48 hours of their selection. Okay, so now this is directives to all political parties. Some factual data related to Bihar assembly election, that those candidates, you can see here BJP fielded those candidates and 70% of those candidates had criminal cases against them. The same is case with RJD, leading party in Bihar, then Congress also 64%. This is the situation. We know about the national data for 2019 Lok Sabha election, general elections, around 43 to 44% of the elected candidates, they have the criminal cases against them. Okay, so you can add the latest data related to Bihar assembly also here. Criminalization of politics, both GS2 paper, polity part and public administration optional subject. Yes, any question?
ECA having the power to ban the election participation of that party, at least one election to those who are having the selection of this type of candidates. If any party has been selecting criminal background candidates, EC have the rights to cancel that party participation in that particular election. So not on a candidate, only that party participations on that election.
Party? Which one? Which you are saying?
But those parties having the criminal background candidates, if the party has been selected, if they have the ECI rights to cancel the participation of that party in that election, so those are having the party names.
So no. You may be saying about those who have convicted. You may be talking about those who have convicted in the criminal cases. Not having the criminal case proceedings may be going against them, but those who are convicted, they are banned. The party cannot field those candidates. Okay, so this is the present situation. But those against those who are having these cases, basically the voters have right to know about the criminal antecedents against these candidates. Okay, so for that purpose, the Supreme Court as well as Election Commission from time to time is trying to bring electoral reforms in this direction. Okay, so now the specific guidelines, directives are given to political parties. So you need to remember this directive, updated, let's say, directives from the Supreme Court. Electoral reforms, very important part of GS2 paper. Yes. And lastly, prelims related development, Ujjwala 2.0 scheme, we can say. This is related to, yes, so deposit free gas connection, LPG gas connection. This second phase is launched by Prime Minister yesterday. So what are the specific of the second phase? It will government will distribute 1 crore gas connection this financial year to the poor people. Under this, along with deposit free LPG connection, this was there in the first phase itself. It will also provide first refill of the cylinder as well as hot plate free of cost. So further benefits are given under the second phase. At the same time, it has reduced the paperwork, and migrants who face the problems in having this connection. So a self declaration for both family declaration as well as the proof of address will be sufficient. They need not to let's say submit ration cards or address proof. Self declaration about the address is sufficient for that, getting LPG connection. So as migrant workers are working in different states, they get problem in having the address proof there. So self declaration is sufficient now. Background about the first phase, it was launched in 2016. A target was set to provide LPG connection to 5 crore women belonging to BPL households. below poverty line households. Okay, so women here are adult women, those women above 18 years of age in that household. So the connection is given in the name of women, adult women of the household. At the same time, it was expanded in 2018 to include women beneficiaries from 7 more categories like SC, ST, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, all these, let's say, backward classes, tea gardens, forest dwellers and islands. At the same time, target was revised in 2018 to 8 crore, and this target was achieved well before the deadline, 6 months before deadline. Okay, so this 7 months before the deadline. So this is the positive thing. This is, we can say that, the flagship program of the central government, and Prime Minister himself is involved much in promotion of this scheme. Now we know that LPG connections in rural areas especially, it has twin objectives. First thing is, it is reducing the combustion of, we can say, the wood, hardwood, and therefore we can say clearing of the forest in the, this requires the women to go into the forest to the longer distance, collect that wood. This aspect. Second aspect, it is reducing the indoor pollution, and therefore the health of women is getting better. Fine. So this is how, this is empowering women in certain aspect. Fine. In rural areas especially. Yes. So try to solve this MCQ then. What should be answer to this question? Yes. Option D, 1, 2, 3. Other students?
Option B, sir.
All of them.
Aye.
Okay, so let us see about Ujjwala scheme. Correct statements we have to find. It was launched in 2015 with an aim to provide deposit-free LPG connections to BPL household. Factually incorrect, 2016. It was launched in 2016. Such kind of statements can be given by UPSC. Okay, so yes, the LPG connection under the scheme is given only in the name of adult women of the household. This is correct. First is incorrect. Second phase of the scheme provides first refill of the cylinder free of cost. Just now we have seen this is additional benefit, right? So this is also correct. So what should be the answer here? 2 and 3 only. C is the correct answer here. Okay, so UPSC is moving some of the question out of 100. They will have factual statements. Like we looked into that question relating to PVTGs, right? Particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Facts were mentioned. 95 tribal people are categorized. Some such kind of 18 states and 1 union territories. So facts are there. So related to government schemes or policies, try to remember the facts also. Fine. Any question about these articles? Okay then, let us stop today. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.